Hey, Mark, it's good to see you.
Hi, Mark. Great to see you. How are things in Los Angeles?
Great. It's good to be back in the warm weather after my recent trip to Boston, and I'm so glad we have the chance to share your background here. Could you just, introduce yourself and give a little bit about your experience and your background?
Sure. Okay, for those of you that don't know me, and I'm sure most of you don't, my name is Mark Young, and I've been in the executive search world for many years. I'm originally from Montreal, Canada. Went to school there, and then moved to the United States in the late 70s, and actually moved to Atlanta, where I started my own search firm for 6 years. Prior to that, I was working in executive search in Montreal. After Atlanta, I was recruited by KPMG to move to Miami, Florida, and I decided to come to Miami, and I had the opportunity to assume a position heading up the search practice for the Southeast for KPMG, and I stayed with them for 7 years and left because the SEC decided that Big Eight firms at the time, now Big Six, Big Four, were no longer allowed to perform search because it was a conflict of the independence of the audit. So I went to our only competitor at that time in Miami, which was A.T. Kearney. There was no Korn Ferry or none of the other large firms, and I stayed with them for 7 years until they were sold. A.T. Kearney sold to EDS, and then I joined a few other firms. And just to make a long story short, I've been in the executive search world since for many years, as I said, and have been with some boutiques and with some large national firms as well.
Well, we're excited to finally officially be working together, right now. It's funny, both of us from Montreal didn't know each other in Montreal, but got to meet in Miami.
Yeah, I'm very excited. You and I have known each other, Mark, for many years, and to collaborate together. We did do some collaborations in the past with both some mutual clients and mutual contacts, and now we'll be associated. So it's very exciting.
Well, I know certainly you've done a lot of diverse searches, including globally. There's a couple of specializations that I love that you bring to the table, including supply chain management, agribusiness, and wealth management. Give us a sense of what those look
So
like.
you just touched on three of the main areas that I've worked over the years. One was agribusiness, and I've worked on a multitude of searches in agribusiness, including in California and Florida and Texas. And those searches involve primarily growers and working with large corporate entities as well in the agribusiness marketplace, placing VPs of marketing, a few CFOs, and a couple of times even placing some strategic business development people. Supply chain management, I've worked in every facet because of my background at A.T. Kearney, which was a major supply chain consulting firm. I've placed partners in supply chains, consulting firms, and I've also had the opportunity to work with large corporate 3PLs and 4PLs and rail firms and ocean freight carriers. And most of those jobs involved senior administration, senior marketing, and in many cases, sales managers for the U.S. region. And my last area, which we talked about supply chain and agribusiness, and the wealth
Wealth
management
management.
was connected to my experience at KPMG because of the finance. So I've worked with a lot of private equity firms. I've worked with RIAs, registered investment advisors, some of the old firms like Merrill, which had gone through some things, and still involved in wealth management. So, and I've always been involved in other areas of senior search, but those are the three main specializations.
Well, I know you just did a great video panel discussion with Gary Goldfarb and Mike Stark on supply chain. Brought a lot of good
Well,
points
I
to the
think
table.
actually, Mark, that supply chain it went through a period for a few years where when the economy was down, that it sort of went into hibernation. It's now back in full swing, and the firms are thriving. So I think I'm excited about some of the opportunities and especially internationally too, because we're now with the new addition to Sadovnick Partners, we can work on some international supply chains experiences.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I just had a conversation. I was in Boston with a client, and then we were talking about how do you develop trust within an organization, and you know, not to make you blush, but one of the things that you've been able to develop is clearly trust with management of your clients, that they know you will come through and you will represent them well. So as my friends tell me, they're not hiring you for your good looks, so there must be something else to
I
bring
think
to
one
the
of the
table.
things, Mark, that you and I might bring to the table is our work ethic, which we really achieved or were brought up in Canada. Canada being the gentlemanly country where a handshake meant integrity, and we didn't always worry about signing on the dotted line. So, yes, I've tried to maintain a very close relationship with the clients over the years.
Well, I'm looking forward to it and having a fellow Montreal Canadian fan, working together again. And
Thanks, Mark. It was a pleasure
thanks for
talking to
joining
you.
us.